It wouldn't be right if we didn't at least let
Down with
Eric have
Eric
something
Trump
to say.
to talk about his father's upcoming rallies and what he thinks is the most important election issue.
Come on, bring it home.
For
your dad bored the shit out of us. Come on, liven this whole thing up.
In 2022 and in 2024. So, you know, your dad's going to step back out on stage here very soon, set to...
Yeah, it was super exciting. I mean, obviously, you shot this before the speech that we saw, so you still have hope.
Speak at the Republican convention in North Carolina. It's been a while since CPAC.
Yeah, I mean, that was
been
magic.
In a forum like this. What can we expect to hear?
Yeah, what can we expect?
Yeah, well, I think people are really excited about it. To say,
oh yeah, that's super. You could tell.
At least, I mean,
the big moments where they kind of were whispering amongst themselves, going, "What the fuck is he talking about?" Those were the most exciting parts.
You got to realize, you know, Trump to 75, 80 million Americans in this country represents kind of a voice of reason that they don't see. They don't see that, John, in the media. I'm not. When I say media, I exclude you and, you know, very few others.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't call Newsmax media either.
But, you know, I mean, he's really...
Is propaganda media, technically? I guess technically it is.
So many people's hope. And, you know, I walk down the street, I tell this story all the time, but I walk down the street, people literally hug me, you know, thank you for what your family's done for this country. You know, thank you.
I believe it. I mean, I don't even know how he managed to get to the studio through all the hugs.
For taking the pounding that you guys do every single day. Thank you for being the voice to so many Americans.
The what?
Americans that literally think that they're voiceless because they don't have social media and they don't have the media and
yeah, they don't have any of the media.
You know, they think our government's very corrupt, which in so many cases it is.
Well, yeah, it certainly was for the last 4 years, but, you know, we're fixing it.
You know, and I think there is a longing for Trump. And again, you see, you know, over a 120-day period of
a longing for Trump. Well, nothing like this speech. I'm sorry, Gwen. Nothing like that speech to kind of quell that longing.
Of time, our country just disintegrate. Our respect around the world.
Yeah, I'm surprised those buildings aren't toppling behind you like, you know, the day after tomorrow.
Fuel prices, our lumber prices, inflation, economy.
Words.
You know, people.
Thing, hat.
Out of work.
Shoe.
Who could otherwise be at work. You see these, you know, $6 trillion spending packages on nonsense. You see the problems at the southern border. You see, I mean, I could go on and on and on.
You do go on and on and on.
I mean, on and on. Look at the spike in crime, John, you know, across the country. And they literally see a country that's disintegrating.
So you think the ghost guns bill should have passed
then? Under horribly weak leadership. They don't see, you know, some people didn't like tweets, right? And fine.
Yeah, that was it.
And that's fine. But everybody says that Trump was an incredibly effective guy.
That's the picture you went with?
Now they look at Biden, who's incredibly ineffective, and they're longing.
Does he look like, is it just me, or is there something like Elvis near the end right in that shot? And so the end is near, and so I face the shower curtain.
For their guy.
Chris Bono.
Back. And
well, you mentioned,
my father
right now
is
that
more
longing.
popular than he's ever.
I don't know why I'm here.
Mention the longing and...
yeah, mention the longing again.
The social media stuff, the mean tweets and things like that. Can you give us an update on the social media platform? A lot of speculation.
Yeah, I want to hear
recently because...
Fwank!
The blog.
Don't forget to go to fwank.com and subscribe.
Was taken.
Fwank, FWANQ.com.
Down. There were some stories about Trump being reinstated last night. What's going on with the social media stuff, Eric?
No.
Yeah, well, listen, his social media is out of control. I actually give DeSantis a lot of credit for what he did in Florida, allowing it to be punitive. But, I mean, think about taking the president of the United States, somebody who's got 75 million votes, and deplatforming him, all right?
Yeah, but when he got that 75 million votes, he lost. He's not the president. He had his account until he...
Yeah. They're not going to be able to silence him. In fact, every time they do it, it backfires, right? Because...
No, it doesn't, actually. It worked the way it was supposed to. Yeah. It had no effect, like you're saying.
You know, new platforms are popping up every single day. My father's working on several of them.
Yeah, totally. I can't wait for his Gab account.
Believe me, he will have a voice, and he'll have a very loud voice. And I think...
Yeah, it won't be clear. It won't be concise. It won't be articulate. It will be loud, though.
You know, 2022, in terms of the midterm election.
Is he going to be on Grindr?
I think they're...
Really? He's going to Tumblr with this?
It's going to be a bloodbath. I
don't know. Yeah, it's going to be like Trump on... Yeah. Wait till his Google Plus I mean, that's. Mwah.
They truly believe that, and I think,
Yeah, he's not on
he's
there.
in a great position for 2024 if he decides to go for it, and I think you might be pleasantly surprised. But
you know what? I don't think I'd be surprised.
What the social media companies might be pleasantly surprised, and I think he's in a great position for 2024 if he decides to go for it, and I think you might be pleasantly surprised. But
you know what? I don't think I'd be surprised.
What the social media companies.
I don't think I'd be surprised either way, Eric, how it goes. There is a lot riding on 2022. The social media stuff is egregious, I think, to a lot of people. But let's talk about 2022 and 2020. As of right now, what do you, Eric Trump, see as the most important issue for?
Yeah. Tell us, Eric. What's the most important issue? Let me guess. If people voting for Trump candidates. America first.
Honestly, I think prices of everything, which are skyrocketing.
Well, they won't be by next year, dummy. That's not how it's going to work. This is pandemic-related inflation. It's going to right itself by Christmas. It's going to be one of the biggest Black Fridays ever. Like, get used to the idea.
The price of chicken is up 300%. When the price of lumber has doubled, tripled, quadrupled.
Chicken and lumber.
Right? I mean, every commodity cost that we have in this nation has gone through the roof. Again, I mentioned before, but gas in California right now just surpassed $6 in certain places. I mean, think about that. We have the lowest gas prices in the world. They're canceling.
Because they're gouging for the weekend, you mean?
Pipelines all over the place. I mean,
yeah, just all over the place. I mean, I can't, like, the other day I was going to, ride my bike along a pipeline and they canceled it and it just vanished.
You better believe.
You bet they're going to cancel them everywhere.
That people feel that. I mean, you better believe.
Yeah, they can feel it. When, I don't know about you, but when they cancel a pipeline, I feel it like when Alderaan blew up. I just felt a great disturbance in the force. Like 1,000 pipelines just.
Believe that people feel it, and you see inflation and,
canceling pipelines here,
policies
but they're okay for Russia. The Russian pipelines are okay. American pipelines not cool.
Well, we don't control that one.
John, that's right. That's right, John. If your son, here's what's okay with the Democrats, right?
Okay, let's do this. Here comes an analogy from the Eric Trump collection.
Your son sits on the board of a natural gas company and he makes $83,000 a month.
And he doesn't have to do Cameo for blow money. How's that feel?
It's perfectly fine for them to build natural gas pipelines and, exploit fossil fuels. No problem, right? Just don't do it in America where your son doesn't sit on those boards. I mean,
the Russian pipeline competes with the Ukrainian pipeline. Burisma is a competitor of the pipeline that's happening in Russia, dum-dum.
That's a hypocrisy. And by the way, it's not just Biden. Pelosi.
No, of course not. It's probably
son held similar positions and other things. You know that as well as I do, right? But
yeah, what about your businesses in China again? I mean, do I have to go look up that clip again?
That's perfectly fine to do on that side of the world, as long as your family's making money off of it. But let's not do it here. Despite the fact that, again, our energy prices are going through the roof. So
yeah, let's go mine rare earth minerals in an area where we don't give a shit if the mercury goes down river and kills people. Why wouldn't we, if we're willing to do that and, in Queensland, Australia, or in the outback or in Africa someplace, and with wanton disregard for human life, why aren't we willing to do it here in Minneapolis?
So I think that's going to be a very big one. I mean, I really think that's going to be a big one.
That's because you're stupid.
I also
it's not going to work that way.
Happen to think that Putin's going to continue to test Biden. You see two big, cyber hacks effectively.
Yeah, that's so weird that you would bring that up. Can I? And this is it's kind of a good way to bring this part of it up. There was a very specific. Where is it? Yeah, here you go. How did this test work out? Now, the FBI found a Bitcoin wallet that hackers used to collect the ransom payment from Colonial Pipeline and recovered the funds, said Deputy FBI Director Paul Abate. Investigators have found more than 90 companies victimized by DarkSide. And the Bloomberg has the video of this, so here you go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, the FBI successfully seized criminal proceeds from a Bitcoin wallet that DarkSide ransomware actors used to collect a cyber ransom payment from a victim. Since last year, we've been pursuing an investigation into DarkSide, a Russia-based cybercrime group.
And weird that they weren't able to get that part done during the last administration.
More than 100 ransomware variants that the FBI is currently investigating. Dark side developers market their ransomware to criminal affiliates who then conduct attacks and share a percentage of the proceeds with the developers.
Well, that's sweet of them.
A scheme known as ransomware as a service. In this case, the FBI has identified more than 90 victims across multiple U.S. critical infrastructure sectors. Those include manufacturing, legal, insurance, healthcare, and energy.
And are they getting their money back?
Based on our investigation into DarkSide and incredible work with other U.S. government partners, we identified a virtual currency wallet that the DarkSide actors used to collect a payment from a victim. Using law enforcement authorities, victim funds were seized from that wallet, preventing DarkSide actors from using them.
Look at that.
This is just the latest disruption that the FBI and DOJ have taken to impose risk and consequences on cyber adversaries.
Well, that's certainly helpful. And then, of course, now we know this is an ongoing problem, and we know it's like a huge issue. We've been dealing with things like this for a while. Let's see if I can find the. I know it's in here. Hold on one second, right? I'm going to find it. Let's see. I have so many. Yeah, let's see. Right? There's so many people who've liked the tweet. Oh, and Joe Carter got her Zoltan shirt. Yay! Let's see. I'll do it. I'll have to look for it. Let's see. Biden, admin, cyber. That should do. Later. Da-da-da. Find this one. I'll have to find. I literally tweeted this out earlier today, and this is what happens when this is how you know it's live. 3, 2, 1. I'm looking for it, guys. Talk amongst yourselves. Hold on. Is it gonna? I know this. And by the way, Dads for Gun Safety is trending thanks to you guys. So please use that hashtag on Twitter. Help us boost that. That would be lovely. Let's see. Here it is. Boink. There we go. So The Guardian had a new article, and I put this up earlier. The Guardian had an article. DOJ reclaims millions paid to hackers after attack that hobbled U.S. pipeline, right? That's basically the thing we were just watching. This is the part that I cut out and pointed to. You know, I always tell you that if you peruse an article and you're going through it, at least read the third paragraph, because that's when the first one is to hook you. The second one is kind of maybe the counter argument. And the third one will be the balancing act. And that's when you really get to the meat of what the article is really about. The operation to recover the cryptocurrency from the Russian-based hacker group is the first undertaken by a specialized ransomware task force created by the Biden administration. Now, I have no doubt that Trump would love to get back into office in 2024. And one of the first things he will get rid of is this cybersecurity task force that's literally crafted to work on ransomware. The operation, there it goes, Biden, and reflects what U.S. officials say is an increasingly aggressive approach to deal with a ransomware threat that in the last month has targeted critical industries around the world. By going after an entire ecosystem that fuels ransomware and digital currency, we will continue to use all of our tools and all of our resources to increase the costs and consequences of ransomware attacks and other cyber-enabled attacks. Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco said Monday at a news conference announcing the operation. This is what just like competent leadership actually does. So, yeah.
Effectively, and in the last 3 weeks. First a pipeline, now meat.
Yeah, it's a good point, algorithm.
What's interesting about that, Eric, the thing that's interesting about that too is you see the White House putting the blame back on these American companies, or I guess the meat company is actually Brazilian, but their facilities are here.
Yeah, I mean, does it really make a difference? I mean, Trump gave money that from the alleged tariff money to 2 Brazilian millionaires at that meat company that, interestingly enough, got PPP loans that were meant just for American companies. It got farm subsidies, also only meant for Americans, even though they live in South America. And they also got hacked in this?
They're saying you need to harden your infrastructure. They're not getting tough with Vladimir Putin in Russia, where we know these hackers are. And it seems to be a thing here with them, a trend.
Who is not getting rid?
Yeah, sure. Of course.
Yeah, why not? Just say it.
By the way, I do think that American
I had a roommate with Hal's talking stand, and he was very clever and witty, LOL, and knew it.
Companies, this is, they do have to be tough, right? I agree with that to a certain standpoint. We shouldn't allow vulnerabilities in corporate infrastructure to be exploited, right? 100%.
This is some really good stock footage, though, and stock photos that they're using. Does Mike Lindell know about this company? Because this is good. They should have like 10 of these.
But at the same time, I don't think they'd be testing this country the way they are if it was Trump. In fact, I know they wouldn't be. You think you'd have...
We didn't have ransomware attacks while your dad was president? A bunch of these companies paid him. They didn't even talk about it.
The nightmare that you have in Israel right now, if my father was in there, of course not. He'd be making calls and, hey, we're not going to play these games, right? And my father did that.
Oh, I'm sorry, who? To Putin?
Very, very effectively, but they see a weak leader, and you better believe that China will exploit that, as they are. Russia will exploit that. Many other adversaries will exploit.
You do realize in this DOJ and FBI gathering that they're talking about this, that the majority of the companies that they recovered money from this Bitcoin wallet that these ransomware hackers were using was during the Trump years.
Exploit that, and that's actually a shame, not just for the United States, just for, frankly,
yeah, just for whatever skyline you feel like putting
behind it. I mean, America has been the greatest peacekeeping force just in terms of influences it's had around the world, and to see that diminish under poor leadership is very sad. And
yeah, that's how we felt last year.
I think people are seeing that, John. I really do believe people are seeing that.
They can't help but not see it.
Yeah, don't say Nazi, dude. It gets him upset.
Right now, I can't help but see it, I should say, because it's...
Yeah, don't say but see Nazi. Don't say but see, because Nazi is what they want to be, but he really, if you really think of it, he looks more like a butsy.
So obvious what's going on.
Like a Nazi's butsy.
Right now in the world, and weakness does...
What if Nazis all added Z to the end of every word, and that was just like the German, it was kind of like the Spanish king who had a lisp. They would just add that to the end of everything. This Nazi's butsy is getting in my waysy.
Invite conflict.
They wouldn't have been nearly as frightening. That's it. That's the cutoff. Jesus.